And the second thing is when you let those rules go completely. So you see progressive Christianity, right? So it can go way off the rails too. So the 10 Commandments are essential. He's written it on our hearts. There are tons of ways people will talk themselves out of those commandments. And I was actually reflecting the other night on progressive, not just theology, but just the thought of, like the gender issues we're having, how they make abortion almost like if you have an abortion, it's like some kind of accomplishment.
Yeah.
Like it's very scary. And I was thinking on that, what happens when you make something that's wrong, right? And when somebody who has a moral or ethic structure, something like a set of commands that delineate this moral and ethical code by which we live, you're going to make mistakes and you own up to those mistakes, right? So okay, I didn't do this or I didn't do that, right? So you are, to some point in effect, keeping the commands, like it says, out of reverence, out of thankfulness to God.
He knows it's best.
Right. But if you don't, it takes away the ability to even say you did anything wrong.
Yeah.
And that's a scary place. Then you don't grow.
With exactly what you said, the progressive Christianity, I listened to a debate recently with Sean McDowell. I don't know if you know him. He's an apologist.
His
dad's
dad.
Josh McDowell, big name. And he was talking with a progressive pastor, and they were debating basically, I would say, sexual ethics. So ranging from sex before marriage to the LGBTQ stuff. And I actually listened to this debate, and I realized I don't think this progressive Christian views any sexual activity out of bounds. I actually commented that on the post, Sean, and I was like, does he have, is there anything that's out of bounds for this guy? And he's like, I don't think so. And that's where that stuff kind of slippery slope. It's like,
that's where the baby goes completely out.
Yeah,
with the
it's
bathwater.
what is out of bounds today in your world? And it's kind of like he doesn't even really have the answer. And so there's some reasons to hold fast to.
Yep, because God's law is our path to life. So when we start to detract from that law and make wrongs right,
well, just think the weight put on false teachers and people leading Christians astray, like that pastor may be.
Man,
that's a heavy weight of what it says on you. And Sean asked him that, and he was like, he basically was trying to say well, if I'm wrong, then I don't even want to serve this God anyway. And I was like, it's like facepalming.
It's like and that's what begins to happen when you're structuring your own moral and ethical code.
Based
is you
on
become
today's
God.
culture.
You're God.
Yeah.
You're now making those decisions.
And then on the flip side, I was reading. I know have you read Crazy Love by Francis Chan?
I've read.
I think you mentioned it. So I just started reading that. I'm about halfway through, and man, he's got some challenging stuff on there on lukewarm Christians. And on how it says in Revelation.
I feel convicted already.
Yeah, and how it says in Revelations, basically, Jesus will chew you up and spit you out. If he'd rather you not even be a believer. And that he listed all these different kind of lukewarm Christian behaviors, and I'm just that is convicting. And what do you do with that? Because it's a bit he's posing the question lukewarm Christians aren't saved in his view. So that poses another huge kind of on the other side of things. What do you do with that?
Well, it goes back to judgment and who's judging? Christ, God. Who's judging? And we can think we're judging people.
But it's if you view it's still our job to hold people accountable out of love and if you're viewing some friends and you're I know they're their lifestyle is just they're so lukewarm in their way they're pursuing God. What do you do with that? I don't know what the answer is.